Hey everybody. Welcome to a product review more than anything else. So the product that I'm going to review today is this product by Sony. Um, Comes into a box like this. This is the WF 1000 XM3. They are their active noise cancellation wireless earbuds. The The gist behind this product is that they are Bluetooth 5.0, so they come with the newest spec when it comes to being able to transfer data as well as energy management um, in, in a very small and pretty lightweight device overall. There's always a good and a bad thing with these things. First off, the case, I will say overall compared to other cases, is really nice. If you have a case that's very small, yes, it does fit in your pocket better, but to handle it makes it more complicated. I don't have the largest fingers in the world. I have tried the smaller cases. The way smaller cases work is if you have smaller earbuds. Well, smaller earbuds don't have the capacity to have room for some of the technologies necessary for active noise cancellation. Of course, the other side of the coin is when it comes to size. The bigger something is, the more it weighs. I think Sony has it decently thought through when they came with looking at those particular circumstances. And so the case-wise, it's probably about it could probably be at least probably about a quarter the size that it or 25% smaller than what it is right now. But I think overall the way it feels in the hand, the way you hold it, the security with holding it and not being fumbling around with it, for especially people who have larger hands, it's actually a good thing. Like I said, this comes in the case. If you want the box opening things, the whatever it is, go watch another video. Don't watch mine because this is like almost this was released about a year ago. So if you want the that kind of video, like I said, that's not what we're here for. I've used these for almost a year now. I bought this at the owner. Originally, I think they were like $250 US dollars when they first came out. I will say I wasn't willing to pay $250 for it. So I got it for a fairly good discount when I bought them. Subsequently, if you're wondering, this is an unopened box. I got these for free about a month ago. Go figure. If I knew I was going to get these for free about a month ago, I would have never bought these. I will say that. I would have used a placeholder for $30, $40 instead and waited to get these for free. But once again, you just never know how the world works. So I got these for free, so they're in the box. I figured show you all what the box looks like or so. It's fairly small. It's fairly compact. But once again, it comes with a lot of pretty well thought out features. There are certain things that I wish that it had that it doesn't have, but I think I sort of understand why. So let's first off, like I said, very sturdy. It comes with a very nice click. There's this little, if you could see it, a small red light towards the middle, right just under the flap, the lid, and that tells you if your headsets are charging or not. This will also tell you, if you plug it into the charger, if the battery is charging on it as well too. So it's a very nice reminder. I wish we had the option to choose the color that it was, because personally I would have not chosen red or this bright of a red. It's nice because it's noticeable, but I don't think it really needs to be that bright. LEDs, they don't really consume a lot of electricity or anything like that, but they do consume a lot, they consume electricity. So they're a hindrance to the battery to some extent. I look at it this way. I think if we cut the amount of power for the light by 50%, probably get another minute or two, maybe, yeah, probably about another minute's worth of listening time on the headsets, which doesn't equate to a whole lot. But I'm more of an efficiency person. There's no reason to waste extra electricity. Maybe they could use something if they had and I know the if we put something that could be an LED or something that could be that we could choose a different color, there's going to be more mechanics, more programming, whatever it is, more stuff that has to be added to these things to make that happen. A controller, so that comes at more bulkiness in a sense, and maybe less room for the battery inside of this. So that's a gist of it. This is a USB-C charger. Doesn't have a lot of battery capacity in it, so it doesn't require some kind of fast charging technology or whatever it is. And truthfully, I will say over the 9 months that I've used this, realistically, I get a good, so if this is completely, all of it is 100% full, overall, I will get about 16, 17 hours worth of total usage from this package right here without it being charged. I look at it this way, that's pretty much good. That's really, really good overall for what these things do and how much power it needs to do it. Most of the time, if the active noise cancellation is activated on this and you set this to have the high quality stream versus the better connection, roughly about a 2.5 to 3 hour battery life overall. I know they quote this as having a lot higher battery life, and you can actually get a higher battery life if you're willing to compromise. But the whole point of having active noise cancellation is to not necessarily turn it off, is to have it available. So that's the gist of turning on all of those mechanisms to make the quality what it's supposed to be. Real world wise, if you use it in a sense like a regular person, I would say just listening to music by itself, you can get about 4.5 hours per charge off of this. So that's pretty good in my consideration, because I really don't wear these things for much longer than that. If you're looking at wearing something long term, I will say if you want to wear these long term, extensively, whatever you want to call it, get better earpieces for them. The ones that come with this, they're good. I will admit they're good. They're really good. In a sense, I can see why, compared to other companies, you have to pay a higher premium. And part of the premium is the Sony name, but they do come with pretty decent earbuds. I will say I've used the Comply earpieces. No, they don't last that long. Well, I would say the average Comply earpiece for me lasts maybe about 3, maybe 4 months if I'm lucky. Part of it goes with my gym regimen, and I sweat like crazy whenever I go to the gym. And surprisingly enough, these have survived my gym regimen, which goes to the testament to the quality that Sony makes. Are these waterproof? No, they are not waterproof whatsoever. They don't rate them to be waterproof, but they survive my gym regimen, which after my 1 hour run, I look like I just got out of the shower and I am dripping wet with sweat. These have survived through almost a year's worth of that, and I go to the gym maybe about 2 or 3 times a week. And once again, my runs, by about 15-20 minutes into the run, I'm already sweating pretty bad. Not bad, but I'm sweating pretty well, where they start kind of getting onto these devices, and most of the devices I used to have only lasted about a good 45 to 60 days, even though they were IPX7s, and some of them were actually IPX8 rated, which is water resistant, and they weren't water resistant whatsoever. Or for 45 days or 60 days, and then water got into it and ruined them. It's probably the second headsets that I've had that have made it more than 9 months. Most of my headsets or so, especially the ones that I go to the gym, they roughly last only 6 to 7 months overall. This has made it almost a year. So hey, kudos to Sony for making a product. Comes with a price, but when it comes to durability, they deserve credit for it as well too. So what do you get out of it? So the box, USB-C charging. No, this thing does not have wireless charging with it. Qi charger charging wireless system, it doesn't have with it. Yes, I kind of wish that it does because it would make life easier. Um, I will say that Sony has always been good about making batteries that last a lot longer than normal. Um, the phones that I use from Sony, I have a phone that still I utilize not as a phone but as another a wireless remote control device that I got 6 years ago, and the battery life on it is great. Most phones nowadays about 2 years, 18 months to 2 years, sometimes 2.5 years into it, you see battery degradation where these batteries they start the life the charge time or the utilization time decreases quite a bit. And Sony, or not Sony, but some of the iPhones, they had an issue with this a while back, and I think they still have somewhat of an issue. I think it could be a marketing ploy for all I know, is to have batteries that only last 2 years so people upgrade. But it's ultimately, whatever the case is, those batteries just don't last very well long term. My Sony phone, like I said, 6 years into it, that battery life is based upon the utilization, still has almost uh, the same amount of charge capacity as it did when I first got it. A year after I've gotten these or so, and the multiple times I've left this on the charger, the multiple times I've used it, the million different ways that I've used it, has not degraded the battery over a year. Well, like I said, it's been a year. You can't say anything about something that's a year old or so with Sony when it comes to the battery technologies, because I think they do a really, really good job at looking at long-term utilization, which is a good thing, which means you don't have to change it out every 2 years or 3 years. They're not looking for you to rebuy this thing every year or two. They would love for you to, so they upgrade some of their technologies every couple of years, which is nice. But I don't think they look at something that, hey, you buy and then you replace every year or two. I think they are environmentally conscious to say, yeah, they do charge higher, but of course that also means you don't have to buy it once again every 2 years. Made it 1 year. I hope it makes it another 2 more years, because I really don't want to replace these. I've gotten comfortable. I've gotten used to them. I figured out they're like any other thing in the world. They have their nuances. Not anything too out of the ordinary. Like I said, they are newer USB-C, so it's nice. 5.0 on the Bluetooth, which means it's going to stay with current technologies compared to the previous Bluetooth technologies. Now, you have to look at Bluetooth this way. The 4.0 spec allowed 1 megabyte per second, or 1 megabit per second, whatever it is, transfer speeds over Bluetooth. The 5.0 specs double that, so you do have a data stream that allows for higher quality audio and microphone technologies and so forth as well too. So that's very, very nice. I don't see the benefit of it if they're still not going to send that much data over to these systems. And I also look at it this way: the more data, the more processing, the more power required. So I understand it's a balancing act. I hope at some point with their newer upgrade to this headset right here is they'll figure out a way to be able to transfer a higher amount of data, but not utilize the battery so much. And we do get higher quality audio streams and so forth as well too. And we can use both the functions the way we would like them to, and I'll explain that here in a second, or a little bit. That on top of it, no wireless battery technology, which would be nice. It means more mechanisms, whatever it might be to make it work. It could also mean a heating issue as well too, because charging over the wireless systems or so, it produces more heat. It's inefficient, which really doesn't matter because this thing doesn't have the biggest battery in the world. So that it would be nice if they could integrate something that is wireless into the system. I'm going to look at maybe their next iteration of these noise canceling earbuds, that they possibly might be able to do that. I would like a little bit more waterproof as well too, but once again, it survived a year with me at the gym when most headsets only survive about 6 months, so kudos to them. The other side of the coin that's really cool about this is NFC compatible. which they have a little NFC chip right here where this kind of roughly where this little bulge right here is in their lid. And so if you have NFC, you can connect it to your Bluetooth using that methodology, which is great. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. It made it so much easier to connect to any of my phones. It didn't require that much effort. And then they do still somewhat, I guess, I have not even tested this, but I'm assuming they have the normal methodology of Bluetooth pairing as well too. Never had to worry about that. I would assume there's a way to do it, and probably in the instruction manual there is a way. But the way I look at it is the market for somebody who buys a $200 pair of earbuds, their phone will have NFC in it. So what's the point in worrying about something that's unnecessary? Realistically, if you're going to have these earbuds, you're going to have a phone that's if you're going to spend $200 on earbuds, you're either doing it because financially you can support it, which also means financially you support higher quality devices, phones like an iPhone or whatever it is. But you're not going to buy you don't realistically have a $200 phone if you have a $200 headset. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be that kind of person unless you're just show-offy. And with society right now, show-offy is probably more of an AirPod or iPod headset or whatever you call that thing. Sorry, that's not the review I'm looking at doing, so I don't know what I forgot what they're called. So the NFC on here is really, really good. It works fairly smooth, connects really easily. So once you have it connected, once you take it out of the box, out of the charging case, it turns on automatically and it starts pairing to your phone, which is a very, very nice thing. It pairs fairly quickly, on the most part within about less than 10 seconds. It's paired most of the time. There's a couple times where it had a couple of delays. Each one pairs in a sense separately. So if you take the left one out, it'll pair automatically. If you take the right one out, it pairs automatically. The coolest thing is that also means if you only want one headset in your ear, that's great. I will say this is the problem, is if you only want one headset, you kind of have to have your right one in, because that has all of the other things that communicate. Your left headset is kind of like it has some noise canceling capacities and all that stuff as well too, because it's part of its job, but all of the mechanics for telephone and all that is actually in your right side and not your left side, and there's a dilemma issue. There's an issue with that as well too. They work really, really good. They color code, so it's like when you put it in the charger here, they turn red to let you know that they're actually activated charging. When you take them out, they light up blue, which, here's the thing about the LEDs. I know they make them really, really bright. It would be nice if they made them a little less bright, because in the middle of the night, in the dark or so, if it's low light, they shine like a beacon. Or the ability to control those colors would be nice as well too. But once again, I also know that it comes with adding a different kind of LED lighting system in there, or bulb, or whatever you want to call it. But also it has to come with a controller to be able to do that as well too. So it adds to the weight, it adds to the battery functionality, stuff like that as well too. It makes it more complex to produce. I get it. Technology gets better. If we innovate, then that's the possibility. The other side, the other benefit to these headsets is, overall, for what they're capable of doing, they are fairly light. They are comfortable in the ear, and they don't weigh down your ear that much. And with all the earpieces that you can have, they actually, once you get it the right fit, they feel really comfortable overall, and they don't necessarily slip out. Sometimes, because of the way they're positioned, it's kind of like a bad habit to think that they'll slip out. They realistically, very rarely have they ever slipped out of my ear in the last year. Of course, I've always readjusted them in, because the Comply foam right there, it snugly fits in my ear, but it's not really, really tight, so it does move. And of course, the weight of these headsets, especially when I'm hitting the treadmill at very, very fast speeds or so, yes, I'm moving up and down, there's a lot of shock force or so they should wiggle just a bit, and that's expected. But But if you do the normal stuff, like if you're sitting here reading a book, whatever it is, they don't fall out. They don't ever move. So it's really, really nice. The sound quality, you've heard a million reviews. I will say this, I love the sound quality of Sony's. They hit it really, really well. Of course, these are earbuds. Uh, Bass response on them, they're good. Are they great? No, they're not designed to be. It's like there's no way you're going to get something this small with a driver that handles bass to the extent where it's going to be that beautiful, that gorgeous. So when you look at bass music, or you're a person who's into bass, this is not it. I think Sony makes a version that handles bass a little bit better, and their driver that they have in there is a little bit different to be able to handle that. But once again, this is not the thing that you need for bass. If you want to listen to a symphony orchestra, oh, it's gorgeous. But once again, if somebody hits the drums up there, will you hear the beautiful tones of those drums? Absolutely not. You'll hear most of it, but you're not going to hear those great low tones that come with a drum. But everything else, you hear pretty damn well once you set it the way you like to hear it. And it's crystal clear. I will say, even when I have telephone conversations over these headsets or so, and I pop them in my ear, I can hear everything, sounds absolutely fine. And also, the person on the other side, yes, if they can hear the surrounding noise, not as bad as some of my other headsets that I've had in my past. So these actually do pretty good when it comes to trying to cancel out excess noise. Does it do a great job? No, it doesn't. I will say that if I'm listening to something on the TV, people can hear the TV absolutely fine, but they can also hear my voice absolutely fine as well too. And of course, that also comes with the fact that my voice overall, when I choose to talk over the headset, I think subconsciously I use a higher pitch, just so that these headsets and all of the other headsets that I utilize, including my phone, picks my voice up more clearly. So it's worked for me, but on the most part, when I speak in my normal tone or my normal low voice that I like to speak in, nobody ever hears anything I say. So I've learned how to communicate in a way where people can hear it, and these things pick it up absolutely well. Noise canceling on these things for an earbud is amazing. Sony makes a headset that covers your ear. Comparatively, when it comes to noise cancellation, do these things compare to the headset? No, they don't. They do a really good job. They do a good job. I'm not saying they don't do a really good job or anything like that, but compared to their headsets, no, they're not going to compare. It's just not going to happen. Can you hear noise around you? Absolutely. They're not encompassing enough of your ear. Also, being a smaller device, their ability to put compact technology into these things where they sense the surrounding noise as well, no. Of course, the other side of it is distance as well too. The headsets or so has more distance from the time it senses noise to the time it gets to your ear. So take advantage of that. Even the 1/1000th of a millisecond, it adds to the amount of time that a headset can process the noise on the outside and cancel it. These things, a lot less distance, which means they have a lot less time to cancel out that extra noise, so they can't do it all. Or they can't do it fast enough, and there's probably no processing technology or so that's going to be able to do it just anytime soon. So that's another gist of looking at an earbud versus a headset. That's comparing inadequate things. Yes, compare the Bose headset to the Sony headset, that's fine. Noise canceling earbuds or so, yeah, there are a couple on the market. Some of them are fairly inexpensive. Those don't work very well. These Sony thought through. There's only one issue that I've come to find that is kind of weird if I have to wear I have these headsets on for more than 2.5 hours, and that is what you notice, because all of the technologies, not all of them, but a lot of the technologies, a lot of the stuff that makes these headsets work so well is positioned in the right earbud. The speakerphone system or the talking system for the phones and all that stuff. The major controls for them, the noise listening, the major connection system for the for this headset seems like it's all on the right side, which also means the right side uses more power than the left side. In the long run, what does that mean? Your right earbud, the battery will die off first before your left one. So multiple times, what I'll see on my phone is that, hey, my left earbud is at 50% battery capacity and my right earbud will be at 30% ear capacity. Of course, my earbud at 30% ear capacity on the right side will say, hey, you might need to charge your headset. And then about 30-40 minutes later, the left earbud will say the same thing. So yes, they're a completely different battery system. They manage themselves independently, which is nice. But once again, it would be also nice if they kind of die out at roughly the same time. It seems it's kind of nice to have that extra battery, because the way I look at it is, well, if the right side dies out, at least you can still hear music and everything on your left side. You can't do all the normal functions, but at least you can still hear music. It has active noise. It's still active noise cancellation, so forth as well too. But once again, it's just a battery issue that's kind of like you don't notice it until you wear it enough, or for a long enough period of time. So those are things that you have to look at when you buy this headset. The batteries don't wear or the batteries are not utilized evenly where they die out at the same time. The good news is, even if they die out or so, the time it takes to charge them, wow. They are, like they said, well, realistically, here's the thing about it, is like you put it in for 5 or 10 minutes or so, you have a pretty decent charge. It lasts you a good hour or two, hour and a half or so if you put it in for 5 or 10 minutes. So it's nice to be able to say, hey, 5 or 10 minutes will give me an hour's worth of time where I can listen, so it'll make it another hour or whatever it is. The frustration is still 5 minutes. It's kind of like people having to have an electric car and you have to wait an hour to charge your car versus 5 minutes to fill up with gas. Similarly, when you want to listen to music, you kind of want to listen to music. So the side of owning this also comes with some entitlement as well too. Nobody wants to wait. If you can afford these, you really don't want to wait. Is it a bad thing to wait? No, it's just a thing. It's part of the nuance of having this. So you have to accept that compromise. I'm willing to accept that compromise because in the end, the quality, whenever I listen to music, is great. The noise cancellation compared to other headsets, pretty darn good. If you have the right earbuds in your ear, does it help to cancel out noise? Absolutely it does. And that's probably the other reason why I choose the Comply earbuds. The foam helps to absorb some of the extra outside noise as well too. I've compared it to, I've actually used the earbuds in the package. Do they work pretty good? They actually work really good overall, but compared to the Complies are going to be more comfortable. I can wear it for a longer period of time, and it does a pretty decent job of absorbing some of the background or the external noise from the environment. Overall, that's the balance of what it works for me. Do I like them? Absolutely. I've had them for a year. Do I really want to change them out? No. More than likely, once these fail, which I don't know when, I'll probably use this. And once this fails, I will probably upgrade to the newer version of this, because I figure if this lasts another 6 months, that's going to be about 18 months. This is going to last me about 18 months. So within 3 years, they should have a new kind of headset or so, or better technology, or an upgrade, or whatever it is. And I'll buy that upgrade or so, or I'll get it. I don't know if I'm going to buy it or not, because it's like, is it worth buying? Only under certain circumstances. Not all circumstances is it worth buying. I will say that circumstances-wise, for what I use it for, it's worth buying. It has been durable. I like things that are durable. I like things that have very, very good battery life overall. I like things that are durable. Bottom line, durability, battery life, build quality. I don't like to change out my technologies or my devices unless I absolutely have to. My phone, if I can keep for as long as possible, 3, 4, 5 years, I will keep. I won't change it out. I don't see a need for it so long as it does what I expect it to do. My phone that I use, I don't have to charge it for 2.5 days most of the time, which means what? the battery will last longer because I don't have to charge it as much. Similarly to this device, if I left it off the charger for 3 or 4 days or a whole week, it's going to be okay. It's going to last, all the battery in this case and the earbuds are going to last for a whole week, which is very, very nice. And if you only have to charge it once a week, and you look at lithium ion batteries and they have a 1000 cycle charge, well, if you do it that way, then you have 1000 weeks, or maybe 500 weeks if it only charges 500 times. 500 weeks or so, that's almost 10 years if you think about it. So it can last 10 years when it comes to battery durability wise. Like anything else, after a while, water corrodes things. Water causes things to not work right. Well, if water gets into this, then I expect it to break at some point, but so far it hasn't. It's not that heavy. It's pretty light for how big it is. Would it be nicer if the earbuds were a little bit lighter? Yeah. If the build quality, they could make it more the same durability, and using materials that make it lighter, that would be great. I think if it could lose about another 10% of its weight, and still maintain the battery capacity that it does right now, that would be a great thing. That would be my sweet spot anyways. If it had Wi-Fi on, or it had wireless charging on here, would this be great? Yes. Wonderful. It would be wonderful. I like the way it tells me how much battery power exists on each headset, as well as the battery power left in the case as well too. Off of their app, it's not that bad. I wish that you could stream the high quality and utilize some of their filtering technology, equalizing technology, and all that at the same time, but it's a give and a take. You choose one or the other. So if you set this to maintaining the connection versus the high quality sound, then some of the equalizer settings you're not allowed to use. If you use the high quality sound, if you have it set to the maintaining connection where it gives up the sound quality, you can use the equalizers and all those other things that are built into this. I would like for us to be able to utilize the high quality data transmission, but also be able to use some of the equalizer settings as well too. It just doesn't work well. It's a good compromise. Realistically, I really haven't needed to use the equalizer settings because the sound quality that comes out of this has been really, really good. Somewhat of a mute point for me, but it is something to consider whenever you all look at buying this headset. So in the end, would I recommend this? Well, if you have a $300 phone, no, I don't recommend this. If you have a $600 phone or above, and you can afford a $200 headset, I will say these are probably one of the best noise canceling earbuds on the market right now. I look forward to an upgrade at some point from Sony, and I figure with Sony, even though sometimes they're backwards in certain things they do, they're forward thinking, their durability, their life expectancy of their products. I like the way they think that way because it's, I'm not materialistic enough to think that I have to have a new product every time it comes out. I just like products that work, and I will expect that here in 2.5 years from now, this product will still work pretty darn well. The earbuds, like I said, change out every maybe 3 or 4 months or so, which is expected because of how rough I am overall to them. But they add to a level of comfort on top of it. It would be nice to have Sony, also considering the price tag that comes on this, to add those Comply earbuds to their box as well too. Not yet. I understand why. They're silicone tips. They'll last, they are durable. They are good. They feel comfortable. But the Comply works in a sense better for me, and they're more they're softer. They fit my ear better, and everybody has different ear canals, so they mold to your ears a little bit better without causing too much pressure. Outside of that, that's pretty much the review that I have on this. Like I said, I'm not doing an open box therapy. I'm not going to give you the specs on that. You can always see those in other videos. But these are the ways of looking at the side of the coin. One of the biggest things is the battery life on your right side will die first before the battery on your left side, mainly because of how much power that right side uses for all the processing. And of course, the wireless charging on here, it's not there yet. I will say it would be nice to have a little, if they put that LED as a 3-part indicator so that we know how much charge is in the battery on the case, that would be cool as well too. Once again, I understand the give and the take with it. The size of the case, like I said, is bigger than most, but also the heft of it, it is heavy. It feels a lot heavier than any other case, but it doesn't feel bad. It feels sturdy, it feels firm. So the case feels really good. Is it pocketable? Yes, but you're gonna notice it as well too. So it's something that, yes, you can put it in your pocket, but you will notice it in your pocket. Thank you for listening to my review.